personal and something a little more rarefied, and maybe something that was a little more esoteric but still at the same time, understandable. It just kind of spoke to a different woman.
What inspires you these days? Creative design?
I think my inspiration really comes through the work. As I'm working, I get inspired to work on something in a particular direction. I'm more interested in the way people approach design than specifically what they're designing. So for instance, just the way an industrial designer will combine references that I think are really interesting or really feel new is something that I'll get inspired by, or the way a jeweler will combine sort of disparate materials can prove to be something that's quite inspirational for me. So I kind of just like to keep my mind and my eye kind of moving and fresh. I'm not really settling on anything for too long. And I think that way I can kind of bring all these things together in a way that feels fresh and kind of unique to what I do, as opposed to being very tied into like one movement or one area or one period.
You were just in Japan.
It was.
What do you think of it?
I love how passionate the Japanese woman is about fashion, and I love how they really embrace what's new. And we just opened our first store, and it's got a great reception. It's always exciting for me to go there to see kind of what that woman is carrying, how she's dressing, and just kind of get a sense of what feels relevant to that person. And I always find it to be really interesting. This season's a little more polished. I think it's a little sexier in a sort of confident, modern way, not in an overt way. There's a bit more emphasis on the body. Things are a little more body conscious.
Who's the RK woman?
When I'm designing, I don't really think of the woman necessarily. I more think of a design aesthetic. It's more about this confident, kind of sensual woman that really understands luxury and has a life that is travel and work, and they're in different environments with different kinds of people.
What are you thinking now? Okay.
We designed for the first collection this bag called the Boxer bag, and it's quickly become sort of the iconic bag. And I'm working on this collection, some new interpretations. I'm working on some bags that are combining some very kind of industrial materials, like mixing. This panel here would be artist canvas that's hand gessoed, and then the strapping is made out of a mirror finished leather, and the flap and the handles are made out of a black waxed hand burnished alligator. So it's this kind of mix of this super luxy, almost a bit punky irreverence with sort of luxury materials, hand finished. There's a very heavy emphasis of sort of a luxe take on punk for spring. So it's taking these juxtapositions of kind of disparate ideas and trying to just kind of squish them together in a way that creates something new. That's one key touchstone of the spring collection. To get into it briefly, and then you can kind of keep going for a while.
It's nice.
So sort of like a punky version of the bag. Just got a good idea. I'm working with this boar hair kind of material that's like this spiky kind of idea. It's kind of like a spring version of fur idea. What's cool, it's kind of hard and spiky, so it kind of feels like that punky kind of flavor, but it's super luxe because it's sort of a rarefied material. Looks like a mohawk kind of.
That sounds amazing.
And we do this kind of chopped up fabric. Maybe it's like stapled together, or if it's maybe riveted together. So this would be like a punk boxer or something. Something like that. Boar hair, day glow, mirror leather.
What are we going to see in the show in the next few days?
Kind of a cool sexiness. There'll definitely always be an underlying luxurious attitude towards fabrication and silhouette and proportion. It's clothing for a woman, it's not clothing for a girl, so it is grown up. We were really fortunate to get Stella Tennant to work with us on our first campaign. She is someone who travels, she's super intelligent, she's someone who has her own sense of style, she's very confident, she has a few kids, she's just someone who I think embodies very much that woman who's multidimensional, confident. I don't want to be trendy, but I want to make sure that the clothing is creative and feels new and fresh. So it's always kind of finding that balance between the two. This is how do you develop something that's exciting and new, but not trendy, so that it feels like you're chasing something that's maybe not believable as to what your brand is about or what you're trying to accomplish.
That's a treat.
That's how it goes.
A treat. Looking good.
Thanks. That was good.
Yeah.
I actually got some work done.
Yeah.
Which is always good.
Yeah,
I have
really
to take
amazing.
these to work. Thank you. It's funny, it's what I spend most of my time doing, is sketching. And just working the ideas out.
Wow.
Huh?